Manchester United announced their financial result, Gab, recording a record £666 million in revenues, which sounds appropriate.
Yes, because 666, of course, as Revelation 13:18 tells us, is the mark of the beast. Satan and Manchester United are the Red Devils. That wackiness aside, look, they've made so many cuts. Their wage bill has actually, for the first time in the Premier League era, the wage bill is lower than Arsenal's. They are now fifth in the Premier League, according to reports. A lot of this has to do with the fact that, a lot of players take automatic wage cuts because they failed to qualify for the Champions League or indeed for Europe. It's weird to me. It's like he's trying to restructure the club in a way that it can continue to make money while not being very good, which is something the owners, who's not him, but the majority owners are the Glazers, would probably absolutely love. So, whatever. More power to you. Sticking with United, Lisandro Martinez is back in training after being out in eternity. Jules, does he move the needle?
Is he better than Luke Shaw? Yeah, probably when he's at his best. But is that where the problem is? I don't think so for United. I don't know when he'll be ready to play. Is he ready to play on Saturday against Chelsea? I'm not sure. But it's good news, of course. You want your best players available. I'm just not sure he's a game changer.
Not just them, but Lisandro Martinez too.
Barcelona, we're hoping to be back at the Camp Nou this weekend for the clash with Getafe. Looks like they will have to wait a little bit longer, Gab.
Yeah, they're really annoyed. They were hoping to open part of the stadium, at least bring in 27,000 fans, because obviously they need money, and this is box office stuff. It looks like they've not been issued the safety certificates. I am not an architect. I am not a stadium safety guy. I have no idea who's right or wrong. But obviously safety has to always come first. At least there's no concert at Montjuic, which means that they can play there and not at the Johan Cruyff Mini Stadi.
Gab, ball in play time has fallen significantly in the Premier League, and some are blaming long throws for it.
Okay, so it's gone from 57 minutes to 54 minutes 21. For those who don't know, ball in play time basically means how long is the ball actually in play for. So excluding sort of when the ball's whistled dead, after goals, throw-ins, set pieces, and so on. The goal is to have 60 minutes. That is kind of the gold standard.
Yeah,
that's what referees aim for. What we've seen is it's gone down, and the injury time has gone up. And people are saying, well, they're blaming set pieces, and they seem to be blaming long throws because clubs treat long throws as if they're set pieces.
Yeah.
I don't think this is that. I don't think this explains this much.
I agree.
I don't think it's great that it goes down. Premier League traditionally has one of the higher ball and play times around Europe because Premier League referees tend to call fewer fouls. It's only been 4 games. Let's see where this goes. Everybody should be at 60, I think, or as close to 60 as possible.
Yeah, I agree.
And I go back to my idea. I would get rid of the running clock, and I would play 2 30-minute halves of ball and play. But hey, that's just me. Well, me and a lot of other people. It's not just the Champions League. We had early stages of the League Cup as well. Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest both have been knocked out. More woe for Unai Emery and especially Mr. Marinakis because he's the one who pays the bills.
Yeah, that's right.
Unai Emery gets paid. Mr. Marinakis pays.
Yeah. They lost away at Brentford on penalties after it was 1-1 at the end of the 90 minutes where they took the lead with Harvey Elliott, his first goal. But were not very good again on the night. I thought Brentford played well, certainly to come back in it. And then, the penalty it was the penalty shootout. And it's another bad news, I think, for Villa. At least they've scored a goal, which is good because they were the only one in the top 8 leagues in England to have not scored a goal yet. So they have now, albeit not in the Premier League, but still a bad evening again for Unai Emery.
And Forest losing to lower division opposition.
Swansea. From the Championship after being 2-0 up and still 2-1 up in added time, considering 93rd, 97. Ange Postecoglou doing Ange Postecoglou. Crazy man management. If you watch that game, that second half, where Forest were the better team, but just the way they concede those two late goals. 3 goals in the second half is just not acceptable, really. And maybe Ange hasn't changed that much,
And also I think to play Ange ball, surely you need to train it and stuff. He hasn't had the time to do that. So maybe go in a little more conservative early on.
I don't know. He said after the Arsenal defeat on Saturday that the team, he would have put his imprint on the team already by this game on Wednesday. Well, clearly
how does he do that? Just by showing up? You need training sessions. You need time to work, right?
Yeah. Gab, you gave Jason Ato some stick when he was Arsenal's interim sporting director a few months ago. Now he got the job at Brighton. And everybody says how smart they are. So what do you have to say now?
Okay, so I gave Jason Ato stick because, like a lot of people, I connected dots, rightly or wrongly. Last January, Gabriel Jesus was out. There's no other striker. I mean, we've spoken about this a million times. No other striker on the books. Kai Havertz is, of course, the best on earth. Yeah. However, he could get injured, and he did get injured 7 days later, and he didn't bring in a striker, and it was Ollie Watkins or bust. I'm not giving Jason Ato. I'm not just giving him stick for it because Jason Ato, when he was in that interim position, he had been Edu's assistant before. Yeah. He's not the big boss of the club. He does the transfers, but he does them together with whoever the chief executive was at the time. Was it Garlic? Yeah. And together, most of all, with the manager, Mikel Arteta. So somewhere among the three of them, and maybe only the three of them know the truth, it came out that it's Ollie Watkins. Can we get Watkins? It's only Ollie. It has to be Ollie Watkins. They don't get Ollie Watkins. They don't get Ollie Watkins. Kai Havertz get hurt. We're treated to Mikel Merino and Leandro Trossard and people like that up front. Arsenal don't win the Premier League. Arsenal get knocked out of the semifinals in the Champions League. I know those three people. The one who leaves the club, who does not get the sporting director job because it goes to Andrea Berta, is Jason Ato. Yeah. So I'm assuming there's some accountability there. This is viewed from the outside. But he's obviously respected because he was interviewed by Newcastle, didn't get the job. They chose Ross Wilson as well. And yeah, we're used to talking about Brighton as if they're the smartest people in the room. If they took him on board, they obviously see the value on him. Good luck to him. That's a great that he can go and shows. But I just want to reinforce when no sporting, or okay, I don't want to say no sporting director because there are a couple who are close to omnipotent. One of them is at Aston Villa, in fact, Monchi. But generally speaking, it is a communal decision. Yeah. And when you look at transfers, you have to always understand that there's a club position, there's a sporting director position. The sporting director always looks medium term and long term. And there's a manager position, and managers inevitably generally think short term. And I think that's kind of the triangle. And anyway, Jason Ato, good luck. I just wanted to explain your job is difficult. And sometimes you get blamed for things that, maybe aren't entirely down to you. Jules, 1 point from 3 games, and Borussia Mönchengladbach part ways with their manager, Rico Suave.
Seoane, yeah. They got battered at the weekend. He finished 14th and 10th in his first 2 seasons with them, which is not good enough probably for a club like Gladbach, even if they're not as good as they used to be, obviously, all those years ago. But we follow his career on the show because he's been in big clubs and then he usually gets sacked and it's not good enough. So let's see.
His music's good.
His music is good, you're right. And his name is cool. But that's about it, pretty much.
I just want to say this. If you fire your manager in September, it's not just the manager who should be fired. You as a club have screwed up.
You can make a mistake like Leverkusen and Ten Hag.
You had 2 seasons. No. But I'm saying is not Ten Hag.
Oh, no, sorry. Right. Okay,
so when you have a guy for 2 seasons,
yes, sorry,
they should know Rico Suave inside and out.
Absolutely.
And decide, is he right for us?
Yeah.
And if you go and you want a whole transfer campaign, presumably, based on what Gerardo Sana wants to do and what he needs and so on, to then sack him in September just puts you in a terrible position. Whoever you bring in, now you're stuck and you're kind of hitting the reset button. If you do that, you hit the reset button. You hit the reset button in June, not in September.
Definitely. Juan Mata obviously likes it down under, Gab. After his season at Western Sydney Wanderers, he moves to Melbourne Victory.
Yeah, this is just an excuse to talk about Juan Mata, who we absolutely love, absolutely adore. I will tell you a story which I may have told before or not.
It's the one that you tell every time we talk about Juan Mata, but go on, because for new listeners...
yes. I was once asked to procure a signed Juan Mata shirt for a charity auction at a school. It was going to be one of the prizes. So it was in charity. It was a lottery. I also bought tickets to the draw, and I won the shirt, and I felt kind of stupid because I'm like, okay, this is kind of weird. So what did Juan Mata do? He then supplied another shirt which we then auctioned again together with the original Juan Mata shirt. So he's just a class act. What can you say about
He's
it?
the best.
And weirdly, there's a group called people know about how, his pledge to donate part of his can't remember if it was 1% or 3% of his annual earnings to various charitable causes. Other footballers, other athletes have taken up that pledge. He's also an investor in the Mercury Group, which is this fund that only invests in women's sports.
Yeah.
I don't know how he has time to do all this stuff, but good luck to him. And I will watch Melbourne victory on YouTube simply because he's there. Barcelona's all-conquering women's team seems to be breaking up, Jules. A lot of players with just a year left, not much talk of renewals, and among them, Alexia Putellas.
Yeah, I think PSG, I don't know how hopeful they were, but trying to get a deal there and recruiting her. She's got 1 year left on her contract. I think her release clause is 1 million euros. I don't know, she doesn't want to leave. I don't think Barcelona really want to sell her now, to be fair. So as much as I love how audacious this was from PSG to try to get her to replace Guerrero, I don't think it's going to happen.
But the reality is, it's not just her. There's a lot of other players, Caroline Graham-Hansen and whatnot, Sama Parruelo, who have a year left, and their contracts aren't being extended for now.
No, for now, yeah.
So Alexia might find herself in a situation where she becomes a free agent, or maybe they offer her the kind of deal that, she feels isn't worth what she contributes on the pitch. That's definitely a situation to monitor. Doesn't mean she won't be in the move next summer.
Our colleagues Lizzie Becherano and Moses Lawrence reporting that Leo Messi is nearing a multi-year extension at Inter Miami, Gab, that would keep him at the club beyond 2025.
I think this is kind of inevitable. If you're Lionel Messi, you're going to play in the next World Cup in the summer. It's not like, oh, look, my contract expires when Inter Miami get knocked out of the playoffs or fail to make the playoffs in October, and then I just kind of sit around until the World Cup, right?
Yeah.
We knew he was going to have another club. And do you want to move your family to another country at this stage in the run-up to what will probably be your last World Cup? No. So I think all this makes sense. I do think from the perspective of Major League Soccer, and you can't help but talk about business because that's all they talk about, valuations and numbers and this and that. There are other stars in MLS now. He may be the greatest of all. You got the bump from him. Let's not obsess over Lionel Messi from a pushing MLS perspective. Let's focus on just being solid, on doing the basics to continue to build our league and make it relevant, and start by improving the football. And the fan experience is fine. TV contract is a whole other kettle of fish. But I think it's good news. It's good news because if Messi doesn't have to move, then we'll probably see the best of Messi at the World Cup.
Yeah.